What is happening, everybody? Welcome to Collecting Profit episode number 60. The big 60. Forgot to shut the other thing down. Ugh. Hey, hey.
Okay,
Here
it's
we
only
are.
your 60th episode.
Only 60th episode. Start off and be stupid about it and not realize what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, hey, we are live with my partner in crime right over there. Anthony, how are you, sir?
Doing fantastic, man. Really awesome to be here with you again this evening on a Thursday. Normally with you guys on a Wednesday, but due to the Valentine's Day holiday, we're with you on Thursday this week.
Yep, so. we thought it was important to be live today and be live with our significant others yesterday.
Yeah. Speaking of significant others, did you hear what mine did?
Big John, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, brother? Good to see you. She went back to California yesterday. So like literally we wake up, it's Valentine's Day morning, and basically we spend that time going to the airport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she had to go back and get some stuff for her next assignment that'll be starting soon. But yeah, so we had a romantic trip to the airport. And
nice. Very nice.
Unfortunately. So how was your Valentine's Day?
Good. We had our romantic it was also Ash Wednesday, so we had we had time, went to church yesterday.
Nice.
Then came back and just, I had then I had baseball practice from 5:30 to 7:30.
Uh-huh.
So, we went ahead and sat down and had dinner after I got home from baseball practice. So nice and quiet. And just hung around, watched TV together.
Nice.
That was about it.
Anything good on?
No. Not really, just I think we were watching New Around or I don't know what we were watching. That's how exciting it was. I can't really remember that much.
For sure. Always curious to know what other people were watching. Just I'm so like out of the loop with TV. Unless like Big Brother's on TV, there's like nothing I'm watching outside of like wrestling or football or basketball.
Yeah, we'll do a lot of like the game show network stuff, like watching the game shows. Because I'm the same way. I'm not, I'm a wrestling, sports, news a little bit, most watcher, or I find those crazy ones, like I'll go to the channels that a lot of people don't watch, like, whatever, ID TV, and like How to Get Away with Murder and all those types of, I almost did it, those types of shows.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice. Trick Williams, that's a good one to get, man.
Nice, man.
That is a good one. I was when I went to the card store, I was looking through some stuff and actually picked up from, I think it's from 2014 maybe, Topps Chrome Paul Heyman.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I just picked up a big stack of, well, not a big stack, but probably like 5 UFC autos. I don't really know who the guys are, but I got them for like $2 to $4 each on DC Sports. And like one of the big things people kept asking me for at the card show was UFC, since I had so much wrestling stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna just grab these and throw them out there for $10 and see what I can't make happen. So I picked up some of that. I picked up like half of a Giannis Spellbound.
Oh, nice.
I've been having a lot of really good luck at the Pittsburgh shows with Spellbounds. Like honestly, before a show even starts, like Mark normally comes by and buys up like most of my completed ones. But like Spellbounds are super popular at the Pittsburgh shows. So been trying to complete like Spellbounds where I can, so like that was originally how I found the stuff, was the 3 Giannis cards that I've been trying to complete a Spellbound of. and so I picked up some UFC, and I picked up a Michelangelo, like the painter relic. I
Oh,
can't
very
remember what
cool.
set it was out of, but Lady Fella's already repossessed it, so I
Oh,
don't
wow.
even get to resell that one. So, but it was pretty
Giannis is
cool.
one of those tough ones, man, because that's a long name.
Yeah,
And you think
yeah,
about it, like, with some of these spellbounds, when you do get the players with the longer names, you know, if you're gonna display it, I mean,
yeah,
you need a decent sized display, especially with Giannis.
correct.
I
So,
mean, from that standpoint, you
luckily,
know.
the one I'm chasing is his first name. The last name would be a whole lot more difficult to put together.
Oh,
But I'd
yeah?
imagine you probably charge a premium, especially if you had it graded. Just because of how difficult they are to kind of put together. I was lucky in the sense that I had like God, 10 plus like LeBron spellbounds, like all put together just because I'm a degenerate.
Yeah.
I started getting the one set and literally I started doing the rainbow of the spellbound. There was like a red and green and a red and blue and like just like a gold and like all these different variations just of the spellbound colors.
That's the other thing.
So I think I had like four from one set just of like different variations of LeBron.
Yeah, I did Huddle,
Hmm.
kind of uses a backdrop, and I think I was able to get I think the year that I did it, I I was able to get each player. Like I got one letter from each player from a different
Hmm.
player and everything. And I wanted to do like the red,
Yeah.
because that's but red was, I guess, what, like, I don't know if it was to 75 maybe, or
Hmm.
I might have been to 99, and the price of some of those were like, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
because then one, and some of the times they throw the rookies. Mine were football players.
Hmm.
I didn't do basketball. Mine were football. When I was looking, that seemed to be the easiest one for me to do, was, the football. But it was the year, I picked the year, I think that, like, Lawrence was a rookie and Herbert was,
Hmm.
like, I picked when a bunch of those guys were rookie years. So the 99s, to do all the same color, the 99s or the other stuff was difficult.
Yeah. I can imagine. It gets to be really, really challenging, especially like with the market fluctuating so much. Like some of my spellbounds, I made decent money on,
Yeah.
but some of them, like honestly, I probably broke even after grading them. You know what I mean? Just because of like the market kind of fluctuating up and down so much. Um, but it's just really, it's really weird. It's just, I guess it all comes down to kind of where you come in, like what your entry point is on some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and just
Yeah.
comes back to finding good deals.
Well, to your point, it's not, depending on what you're trying to do and everything, like you said, when you have a guy like Giannis. Like, I can only imagine the short print ones, the 25s, or I don't know how short they go,
Yeah.
but my goodness, if you go to 25, there's only 25 copies of that. That cannot be cheap. I mean, that's got to be,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't make a difference what year it is, right? I mean,
Hmm.
it's him, it's his last name, or it's a first name, which doesn't make that much difference, but still, if you're trying to get, uh, what's up, Dommy? How you doing, pal?
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to get, to spell it out and everything, yeah. I mean, that's
Hmm.
not very easy to do, again, with certain players' names and everything. And then again, um, you know, rookie year and all that other kind of crap, that's another pain in the rear end one.
Hmm.
Again, I mean, not a pain, but it makes it, more expensive,
Yeah.
stuff like that and everything. So, but
Absolutely.
see, I don't know about you. My sales have been, yeah. I mean, but then again, look, I truly, I'm telling you right now, the whole. I know a lot of times we don't want to believe it, but the truth of the matter is, you get rewarded for listing cards,
Hmm.
or listing anything especially when it comes to eBay, because I find that I will still sell 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and everything. But the bigger
Mm-hmm.
days I have are usually days that are coming when I have gone ahead and, and made an effort to get, 30, 40, cards listed.
Yep, 100%.
From that standpoint.
I'm seeing the exact same results. Like, and it doesn't matter how many cards I have. It can go from when I had 50 cards in my store all the way to now where there's like almost 6,000.
Yeah.
If I'm not listing, I'm not getting very much activity. You know what I mean? And then the weird thing is, like, I start listing, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh wow, look, my Tiffany Stratton Prism cards, which I have 8 of, are now popular. You know what I mean? Like, I've sold like I think 7 of the 8 in like the last week or two.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, just random cards that are like not very valuable. Like, that's just a random card that I've neglected the list forever, and I just finally listed because it was a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Yep.
a $2 card, but stuff like that, like I've been selling a bunch of like Dan Marino, a bunch of Barry Sanders, like stuff like that lately, and it's not anything that's super popular. You know what I mean? I sold like a bunch of Troy Aikman the other day. It's like, again, like he's a great player, but it's nothing that's like super popular. I paid 10 cents a piece for his cards at a card show. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's like the reward for the activity. You know what I mean? That
Yep.
it like pushes me in front of the people that are buying crap.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's what I've noticed. I really haven't. Sorry for the background noise. But I mean, I haven't. Multiple cards have. It's weird. I've been more team related for me than player related. Like I'll have guys, or girls, whoever, they'll buy, a couple of cards of, I don't know. If it's baseball, maybe, maybe it's a couple of, St. Louis Cardinals, right? So it might not be, like all Ozzie Smith cards, but it might be, a couple of St. Louis Cardinals cards, or a couple of, Astro cards, or a couple of, if I have for football, it might be a few Raider cards and stuff like that and everything. So, um,
Mm-hmm.
but what I was doing, I was going through, I mean, as you can see, I got boxes. I had a bunch of singles, wide boxes, single row boxes that I'm starting to consolidate by sports into, some 4 rows. And
Mm-hmm.
as I'm going through, and like I was going through football, so I have not a lot of 89, but I have a lot of like 90 to, I don't know, middle 90s football. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm thinking of doing is taking some of those.
Hey, Zach.
Hey Zach, how you doing? I'm thinking of taking a bunch of those
Mm-hmm.
and making some player lots from the different years of the popular players. So
Nice.
it may be, 9, 10 cards, who knows, inserts and all the other kind of stuff. And then maybe look and do some team lots to see how that goes. And I want to try that with like football or hockey,
Yeah.
and see how that, you know, progresses.
I've been thinking about doing that too, because I have some players, like for example, like your boy Zach Wilson. Like, I have so many of his cards because he was like a hot dollar box guy for like the little bit when he was a rookie, or
Yep.
even going into his second year. So like maybe if I find a guy that actually still believes in Zach Wilson, and I just put all my Zach Wilsons together, like 50 card lot, you know what I mean, $20 or however much that should equate to, because obviously I'm not getting the dollar a piece back that I probably paid for a lot of those cards.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, but you think about it from a standpoint of, if you take, let's say, whatever, if you took
mhm.
10 Zach Wilsons, even if you sell them for, let's say, $8 for all 10, the truth is you still do wind up making out, because if if you would have sold to 10 different people, that's 10 different,
I get
um,
it.
that's 10 different credit, transaction fees. So that's $3 off of there right there, right? So where
Yeah.
even though you might not have gone ahead and you know and and sold them for that much money, at least from a standpoint of making more overall. At least you did, you wind up saving some stuff with the transaction fees. But John, glad you had a good January. Let's see what we got. Oh, sorry. Kenneth, how you doing?
I would imagine 9 days might be like more so like if you wanted to get something to end on a certain day, just. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have any input on the whole 9 day thing? I'm not a big auction guy. Normally, I'll do auctions if it's something I think people will fight over, or if it's like something that I just don't know the value of. That it's like whatever, I'll throw a dart and see what happens.
Hey there, lady feller.
Lady fella's in the house. Good to see
Hey,
you.
Johnny. So going back to this, I'll tell you why they do that locking, and if they're doing it, they should be doing it a certain way. You typically, a lot of you people that do your 9-day auction type stuff will typically like start on a Friday so that it ends on the following Sunday. So you basically get 2 weekends to look for, for people to try and, from that standpoint. And
Mhm.
that's really, why people will do an auction, for that long. Because a lot of people don't recall or anything, but at one time, eBay I think had like 30-day auctions, and that was crazy, But
Yeah.
see, but the one thing where a lot of people who have eBay stores get bit in the rear end because they don't pay attention is that auction for 9 days. If you get 250 auctions, let's say free in your store, let's say you have a basic store and you get 250 auctions. Well, if you put 100 cards up there and you put them all on 9-day auctions, that's 100 that goes by. You flip that again, that's another 100. So you're already through 200 and you're only 18 days into the month.
Yeah.
You still have, you know, 12, 13 days left. So what happens is where people kind of get bit in the rear end is they then start to roll these over and then they start paying insertion fees because they've gone over their limit. So,
Mhm.
auctions are good to me, but depending on if you have a store, you really need to keep the number low so that you can keep when they don't sell, you could just keep going and not really have to worry, about going over your limit and then paying more money to go ahead and to list the stuff.
Yeah.
From that standpoint. But yeah, like you said, from it, it's. And I think there are certain things you have to look at when people are doing auctions. I mean, number one, first and foremost, you really need to go ahead and see how many are out there listed. That's number one.
Yeah.
That's number one, right? If you're the only one, and I think honestly, to me, that's probably rare in the sports and trading card spectrum to be the
Mhm.
only one. Now, only one. Uh, hey, Dusty.
Hey, Dusty.
Now, only one meaning I'm not talking like a one of one is different, but like I mean I'm there, and I don't mean like the only card whatsoever because you can have a Francisco Alvarez for the New York Mets, right?
Mhm.
Base, but if to 99 to 75 to 50 to 25 to 10. Now you can be the only one with a card to 10 and maybe you put that on an auction, but I would not put a card on an auction if let's say there was four other let's say to 50 listed and I had one. I
Mhm.
wouldn't put mine on an auction. I would go ahead and put mine in, so that's what you have to kind of, in my opinion, you have to kind of watch and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You be careful with that. How often do you run auctions in your store?
um I will. I don't use a set thing. For
Mhm.
me, it is I look at some of the cards that I have, and what I will do is, if I have a bunch of cards, I might take them and throw them on a 99-cent auction because they've been sitting there for a while. and rather than do, 99 cent, buy it now, I'll go ahead and just do, 99 cents in auction and just to see what happens.
Yeah.
See if that spurs some interest, from that standpoint.
I used to do that a lot more. Anything that was like $1.99, I would just run at auction. The issue
Yeah.
I ran into with that was like I'd have so many that just didn't sell. Like, so if I listed like 50 like that, I might sell like five. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was such a low percentage that was actually selling.
Mhm.
And then I would forget like to go back and relist the ones that didn't. You know what I mean? So then it's like, oh crap. I have like all these auctions that have ended, plus like things that I've ended because I've either sold in person or X, Y, and Z. So for me, it just got to be like a whole nother hassle just trying to remember when they're ending, to go and relist them X, Y, Z.
Yep.
Just to answer Lockin's question, yeah, I do buy it nows. Like, so if it's like a 99 cent card, I'll 99 cent buy it now or best offer. Most of the time, I'm not taking best offers on a 99 cent card, but I still put it on there just because it helps with my metrics or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it basically stays there until it sells. However, it will basically relist itself. Like, so each listing is good for like a set number of days, like some are 30, 60, or whatever number it is. Once that limit's up, it automatically refreshes and becomes a new listing. Just so it gets more eyes on it. And just something eBay automatically builds in. So that way your stale stuff starts getting more eyes on it after a while. The big thing is just making sure your pricing is competitive.
Yep.
That's something I've been doing a lot over the past couple of weeks, is just going back and repricing like a lot of my stuff that's been in my store like a year plus, or whatnot, just because sometimes it can be vastly off just with the way comps swing.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they do, and so you got to. So what it does is the listing lasts for however many days there are in the month. So now that's a little might be considered misleading, but for instance, if you list a card today, even though it is leap year, if you list a card today, I believe you get 28 days, right? Because you listed it during February, and that's
Mhm.
part of your monthly allotment. If you list a card in March with 31 days, you know what I'm saying? You get that. So they have it so that it only will uh, a buy it now will only relist itself, you know, like the following month, so you don't
Mhm.
go ahead and get killed in your listing total, right? Because
Mhm.
if you had 5,000 listings, or if you had 10,000 listings, and
Yeah.
you only, or if, let's say you have 8,000 listings, but yeah, you only have 10,000 that you're allowed up to, but you have 8,000 active, and you did those on the first, it lets you get through the month before it relists them, because if it didn't, then you would wind up going to that, you'd go 6,000 over if all of them relisted, within that same month. So they give you that month to work through
Yeah.
from that standpoint.
What do you think of the 2024 Series 1 boxes you have seen? I haven't personally ripped any. I'm not the biggest fan of the design of it this year. I don't know why. It just seems like I, so how like Heritage, they make it look old, but it's like cheap. You know what I mean? Like, it just, for some reason, when cards look old, like with that older design, I don't know, it just looks, it cheapens it to me a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, for like a tops like flagship type product, I'd want to see just like a more like, I don't know, like modern day looking design. I mean, it's not terrible looking. It's just I'm not the biggest fan of like the actual art design of it. Let me actually see if I can grab a picture of it for people watching on
Um,
YouTube.
from what I've seen so far, so I don't know if you mean the actual cards itself, or what I have seen pulled and all that type of stuff. I really haven't. I've seen some highlights. I mean, and people have pulled, some decent stuff. I mean, so far. Um, I heard. I don't know if anybody heard, but there's an Easter egg out there that I heard that. a lot of people might not have realized. I just went ahead and heard about it. Was Kevin Hart is part of I guess with some Philadelphia Philly cards. There's a little
Nice,
picture of Kevin Hart on the card. So
nice.
kind of like Jose Altuve, it's probably close to like life
Yeah.
size.
So is it like a SSP, the one with Kevin Hart on it?
Yeah, because I think they're gonna. I think it's very limited on how many there are.
So I mean, to
Yeah,
me, it just seems like a retro looking design. It's not terrible. Like I think it looks better in hand than it actually does. Like I don't know, man. I'm just not the biggest fan of the artwork personally, but like I said, like you said, I have seen a lot of decent pulls coming out of it. So
yeah,
um,
but I like it. It's clean. It's basic, which I mean, it's fine. I look at it the way it is there, and and I'm wondering, like Chrome should be interesting. I think Chrome will have, Chrome will have some nice, flair to it and stuff.
I think
Um,
Chrome will actually look cooler because of like the
yeah,
two toneness to it. You know what I mean? Like with like a holographic flare. Um, yeah, I mean it looks like it's been a pretty good set. A lot of people have been ripping it. I haven't
lot,
like I said, I haven't personally ripped it or anything like that. I have seen other people rip it at the card shop though.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, I mean, you know, I, you know, I always just wonder, like, what more are they going to do? Like, what I like about it
Hmm.
is that, and it may seem odd, but I like it from the fact that at least, it has borders that you could look at. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it has, that stuff to where, like you don't have to worry, how some cards they don't have that border and and
Hmm.
we think about grading cards, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at that and you're like, man, is that centered? Is it not centered? I really can't tell if
Yeah.
it's centered, right? I mean, something here,
For
with
sure.
that the way it is, I think it you know, the mojos, yeah. I mean, the mojo, I do like the way the mojos do look, but like Lawkins said, some
Mhm.
of the names and stuff they do get washed out. The thing that gets washed out with mojos, especially a lot of times, is if you get numbered cards,
Yeah.
from that standpoint.
The thing I'm worried about with something like this, since it is a paper product, with the top edges here and corner being completely black, is that going to affect the gradability on getting tens? Because, in my opinion, like in the current landscape, it's really all about 10. Because half
Yep.
the time, if you're hitting a nine, you're probably hitting this exact same resale price as a raw card for the most part, unless it's like, an older card or like a drastic situation. But for the most part, PSA nines are pretty close to raw at this point. That's the sad part. So like something like this with the black border is something I always am concerned with. I was really actually shocked. The all the Lurkana stuff I've graded so far have all gotten tens, and it's like all black, just like it's black right here. Now, granted, like the TCG is not just like a pointed corner like a card, so it's a little bit more forgiving. But anytime I I see that solid black, I'm always like concerned, like just because any speck of white is going to show right through on that. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
And
for sure.
typically hard on that.
Yep.
So that's always something I'm concerned with. But
Well, I
I
like
would
one.
imagine, I was gonna say, I'd imagine come Chrome, that'll be less of an issue as far as like whitening and chipping and stuff like that.
I think so, but and I think also you got to think about it, Anthony, from a standpoint of, um, you know, Ellie De La Cruz, like that card right there. One thing I'm surprised, and hey, Craig, how you doing? And I don't know if anybody in the chat has seen, but one thing that I was surprised about is that uh, we haven't I haven't seen anything or heard anything from SGC doing a special, which is interesting because the last couple of releases with Bowman and with Tops, they were going ahead, um, and they were going ahead and running like a $9 special, right? It was, I think that's like when Marty was ripping the crap out of it to
Oh
go
yeah.
ahead and to go ahead and take advantage of that. I haven't heard of anything, but I think when you look at the base, from that standpoint, you look at, like I said, Ellie De La Cruz, maybe Jason Dominguez, probably
Mhm.
the two that people might try and grade in a base. Now, when you get to the Mojos, if you get to the other stuff, I could understand, maybe those getting, graded and everything. But to your point, if you have the Mojo and you still have that black, even with the chrome, I think it could be okay. I mean,
Mhm.
that should be all right because you have the chrome finish, but if you have any other kind of special, inserts, like I know they have one where they have the team the team name or the team picture of the team logo in that
Mhm.
border that, is, I don't know if that's considered a short print, but that's one of those things that they have, from that standpoint. So um so I don't know. I think from a grading standpoint, I'm wondering if people are starting to go ahead and get away, from that standpoint. So in your guys' opinion, why do you think they left Otani out in the base cards? I gotta believe they did because they would have had to have. I can't. I don't. I mean, look. Even though we know they airbrushed or photoshopped Tom Brady, um,
Mhm.
it would have been an air. It would have been a Photoshop of Otani, and they probably don't think people would think that was cool, and I don't know why, but I think if that's the only thing I could something I could think of is that they probably want to wait for him to be swinging the bat. So obviously he's not going to throw a ball, so they
Yeah.
probably want to maybe get an in-game picture of him, in spring training or something, of him swinging the bat.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think that they would at least do something like, like if you don't want to go as far as the Photoshop job, like even if, it's like, hey, I don't want to pay somebody the, you know, $20 it's going to take to actually Photoshop his face on there, like put him in an Angels uniform and then just say signed by the Dodgers, you know what I mean? Or something like that, similar to like one of those, like Tops Now, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
pretty sure they've already done Tops Now, like Otani signs with Dodgers or something
Oh
like
yeah.
similar to
Yep.
that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just to have Otani in the base set, because if you're just a regular collector and you can't pull a base Otani, it's like kind of defeats the purpose if you're just buying one pack.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's like one of the guys you're chasing is Otani.
Yeah.
Like now, granted, there's still a lot of great stuff you can pull out of there, but I just don't think it makes no sense not having um, those base cards. Like, yeah, just like he says there with Soto with the Padres.
Well, here's what I think the difference is. Soto was traded, so there was, I don't think there was, what I'm saying. So Soto was traded,
Yeah,
where Otani, everybody knew he was going to be a free agent, right? So
yeah,
that's all that I could think of from that standpoint. That is why they have Soto in his Padre uniform versus
hmm,
Otani, because I don't know if it would have, I don't know how, I guess they could have threw Otani in, put him in his Angels uniform, just like they're gonna have to come out and either probably update series. I doubt they will do it in series 2, but maybe an update series, is when they'll throw Soto in his Yankee uniform.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what Lachlan was saying too in regards to Otani. Like Series 2 is kind of what they'll do there. And that makes sense because they even do that with a lot of the rookies and stuff like that and call ups.
Well,
They
but
put
you
their
never
shine
know.
in Series 2.
I agree, but they could. I don't know. Like I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's an update. I don't know if he's in series 2 in his uniform. But you never know. They could look at the landscape a little and go, "Hey,
Hmm.
we haven't really had a lot of guys called up that are worthy of cards. Man, do we want to go ahead and put Otani in series 2, or rather than waiting to update. So I don't know. It's going to be easy
for sure.
Like I said, I'm not saying. Yeah. Yep, Soto could be a short print there. Soto could
I like what
definitely,
they're doing with
be a short print.
I like what they're doing with short prints and tops. You know what I mean? Like really actually giving them like value, which is really cool to see.
Yeah,
Especially with like pulling like an older player. You know what I mean? Like getting like a Babe Ruth first Bowman is like actually a big deal now. Whereas like if you were to look at the Panini equivalent, like even if you pull like a Bill Russell, like Prism Silver, it's like who cares? It's like a
right.
$3 card if you're lucky. You know what I mean? To the right person who likes Bill Russell. You know what I mean? But it's like in tops, if you're pulling like, it could be any random player, SP XYZ, of a Hall of Fame player, and then next thing you know, it's like a super desirable card.
Yeah, I think you'll start to do that type of stuff. I think you'll start to see, especially from a Bowman perspective. I think if you look at some of the, maybe some of those guys, like I don't know, will they do, um, Lou Gehrig? Will they do Joe DiMaggio? Will they
Mhm.
will they even do like will they do some of those guys? I don't know, but at least what the difference. I think the difference you have. What I like is that even though Tops had gallery and they had and some other stuff where they would throw some of the older players in, it wasn't like it was only in that was in like a separate set. Whereas in Panini, you buy Mosaic basketball, you buy Mosaic football, right? And you get all those guys, you get all those other players and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Trying to find an image of that Kevin Hart to share.
some rookies in one, two trades and update numbered versions of showing. Yeah, probably.
I'm not seeing anything on Google yet.
Looked up
For
Kevin Hart card. It is numbered to 52. Yeah, sitting on home plate near Schwarby. Yep.
I guess maybe if I look on eBay, that'd probably be a good place for Kevin.
Yeah. If we get 26.
Not on Google yet. You got new.
Yeah, I mean, the only bad. I mean, I get it, John. The
Oh,
only thing
snap. There it is.
I think,
I
the only
got it.
thing I have, I think when you look at it from that standpoint, John, is that they, you know, a lot of baseball uniforms don't have, unless they just stuck to the logos, which they probably should.
That thing is epic. See him there? Just
Yep.
chilling. Was he taking a selfie?
Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
a
something like that. You know what I mean? It's just like a Kyle
for
Schwarber.
sure.
Like, unless you look close and see the Kevin Hart there taking a selfie, like that's just a regular card. You know what I mean? Like, unless you also see that it's numbered to 52, obviously. But I mean, from the front, you know what I mean? It just looks like a regular base card.
If
You know,
you're
minus.
going through quick,
Yeah, that's what I'm
you
saying. Like,
you you you
if you're
could
just
pass
going
that
through,
one.
like, you know what I mean? Like, you might just look to the Philly and not even scroll to the Kevin Hart part. You know what I mean? That's just super cool. I wonder why they put him on with Schwarber. I wonder if that's like his favorite player or whatnot.
I wonder if is it maybe it's all Phillies? I don't know.
Either
If
way,
if
that's
you
super
did a
cool.
top series one Kevin Hart, I wonder if how that would come up in your search.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of like the fans of the game thing that Panini did. I don't know if you remember that. I think it might have been like a Donruss set, where like Mark Wahlberg likes the Patriots, or this person likes that team or XYZ. You know what I mean? So this kind of reminds me of that type of thing because I know Kevin Hart's like pretty famous for being a huge Philadelphia sports fan because that's where he's from.
I mean, on eBay, if you just search tops
Mm-hmm.
um 2024 Kevin Hart, That is the only one that comes up.
Wow. $150, 7 bids, ends in 4 days.
Yep.
So I mean, I wonder what this card is actually going to land at if there's already $150 on it, and there's still 4 days to go.
And the other thing you have is you do have a popular player.
Yeah.
Schwarber is a popular player.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with you, John. I mean, I agree. To me, there's logos, there's I mean, there's the logo, there's the number, there's the name, they usually have patches on their arms. There's plenty of stuff where they don't have to go ahead and make it just that one little friggin' white piece. Or if you're gonna do it, a lot of the teams have like pinstripe uniforms. Put a pinstripe in the middle of the damn thing.
What's up, Titus?
Titus, what's happening? What do you say?
I agree what he's saying though, as far
Yeah.
as like the napkin and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I think with Fanatics being kind of at the helm now, hopefully we'll get away from the napkin era because they're the guys that are in charge of all of the actual like memorabilia side of things too. So
Then
hopefully not only will we get actual game used crap or stuff that players actually touched, but hopefully we'll get really cool crap like that Patrick Mahomes helmet that got mangled on the field this past year. Could you imagine that turning into like a 1 of 1, like right where the helmet's freaking cracked, or like the Chiefs logo, or like any of that crap going into helmets? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because if you look at wrestling cards, you have chunks of table, you have chairs, you have in UFC, you have actual octagon cage. Like there's really crazy things going into cards right now in other areas. Like, so I would kind of like to see that coming to actual sports cards with Fanatics, being that they're kind of so intertwined with
Yep.
the memorabilia side of things as well. You know
And
what I
in
mean?
hockey, they do part of the net. They're actually
Mhm.
done part of the glass.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
They will have plenty of the players
Mhm.
hate the new Nike ones. Well, oh well. I mean, I'm, yeah. Yeah, I gotta go
You
ahead. I
know.
gotta order 'em. Yeah, so the Fanatics ones are a little different. So if you are gonna order a couple, I mean, if you order them from Tops or anything, it's cool. But Fanatics does have like an exclusive, their blasters and stuff. So that would be pretty cool.
I'm excited for Fanatics to actually start getting some of the other stuff from Panini and some of these other companies as well. Because like I said, like the stuff that people are able to chase, like I've talked so much crap on taco fractors, but like I would like to have the option to chase something like a taco fractor,
Yep.
or you know what I mean, like pulling a Super Bowl ticket, or like any of the cool stuff that they're actually doing right now. Like
Hmm.
I would like to have that opportunity in like the stuff that I collect more heavy. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy baseball, but it's not like I'm gonna spend a majority of my collecting budget on ripping baseball stuff just because they have cool programs and stuff like that. But when they
Oh,
start putting out basketball and football and wrestling and all of these licenses that they already have said that they're going to have soon, you know what I mean? Like I'm excited to actually participate in like being able to do some of these cool things. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to be like the chase for like the next Victor Wembanyama type thing? You know what I mean? Whenever cards are actually like, like, are they going to have like an Arch Manning sweepstakes, or what, something equally as cool as that? You know what I mean? And they already have all these Tom Brady things. Well, like, how about actually putting that in a football product where I want his signature? You know what I mean? Like, it's all well and good to have the Expos card, but I don't care about the Expos. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather have him in a Patriots uniform, as much as I hate the Patriots, or even a Buccaneers uniform, because he won Super Bowls in those uniforms.
yeah.
Um, what's up, Adrian? Good to see you. League of Our Own.
Yeah, so Dusty, imagine if somebody would have, they would have cleaned up all that glass when and someone hadn't enough wherewithal to think about that back then. You know?
Yeah, that'd be
Hey,
wild.
Adrian, how you doing?
But could you imagine, like, just the crazy stuff that could go into like true rare 1 of 1 cards? Like, Um, like if you're even looking into guys like Mark McGuire, like start finding the balls that were in that you know, race, you know, for him breaking the record, or like anybody that had something key, you know what I mean? You could literally have chunks of the uniform like going now, like they're doing the, you know, first debut patch, you know what I mean? They could have that stuff for every World Series going forward, every Super Bowl, NBA Finals going forward. Like, why wouldn't you have, like, because most of the players for their jerseys will have something commemorative for those games anyway. Why
Yep.
wouldn't you start cutting those out and making true one of ones out of that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? Like to
Yeah.
where it actually is meaningful. It's like this is the jersey that Patrick Mahomes just threw that game winning Super Bowl touchdown pass in overtime with. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that where you can like identify it, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then actually printing on the card, like this is what it's from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I miss them doing that. That was like the coolest thing ever. Like you could actually look up like what happened in that game, you know, when they used to put the actual date, the opponent, whatever on the back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
eh,
it's not that difficult. Like, especially if you're looking for true rarity, just cut up the jersey from the championship game. You know what I mean? Like the really cool patches, that can be the one of one. You know what I mean? And then like the crappier they get, like once it's all base color, those are like your number to whatever. You know what I mean?
mhm.
I think that it's possible to really build something really cool with like really unique game use things. You know,
Oh
especially now
yeah.
that Fanatics is doing it.
Yeah, and I think, I look at it from a standpoint of the Super Bowl jersey, I could see that being tough, right? Like because that, but you're right. Maybe but the league championship jersey, because like I don't know if if you're Patrick Mahomes, just won your third Super Bowl in 5 years, your third MVP, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
You know, are you going to want to go ahead and go? Here you go, Panini. Go ahead
I
and
don't
go
know
and,
that
and
they
put,
really
put this in
have
your
a
national treasures.
I don't know that they really have a choice, if I'm being honest, because technically the jersey is considered equipment or property of the team. The reason I say that is because like I used to be a ball boy for the Steelers, and we would have guys come through the team that were like long shots to make it, that would like literally sneak their jerseys, and the team would ask for them back.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like because we would go after the game, we'd be pulling the jerseys, we'd go to wash them, they'd count them to make sure they're all accounted for. Because typically, I think once they're done with them, they'll literally strip the numbers and name off, and then just reuse them, until they're like crappy, and then they'll start over or whatever. Um,
Yeah, I said, yeah.
but yeah,
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I
what they
would
would do,
imagine
and
if a
maybe
guy
is
like
that why they?
Mahomes
Yeah,
is literally like, I mean, because now they do jersey swaps and no one actually does anything. You know what I
right.
mean? But I would imagine a guy like Mahomes, like they're going to let him do whatever the hell he wants to do. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And they're just going to replace the jersey. But I do think there's a way to do it, especially with a lot of these guys kind of like getting paid exclusively through Fanatics. You know what I mean? Like that should be
Yep.
built into the contract. Like say a CJ Stroud, if I'm signing exclusively with Fanatics, that also means that Fanatics has exclusive rights to any of my old equipment once I'm done using it. Now, obviously, like I'm not going to say, hey, these are brand new pair of cleats. You've worn them once. Let us get it so we can cut it up and make cards with it. But maybe after the season and you're moving on to a new pair, give us those cleats. Let us make some really nice national treasure stuff with it. Can you
Yep.
imagine getting like a national treasures card out and it's a little chunk of cleat hanging out at you? Like that would be insane.
Well, I
You know
think
what I mean?
out of one of the baseball products, somebody did an Aaron. They got part of an Aaron Judge cleats.
Mhm. Nice. That's awesome.
You
But I
know.
definitely think there's ways to go about it, because there's a lot of for example, most of these players, like they have so much crap they just get for free from either the team, whatever brand they're signed with. And I'm speaking football, but I mean, for any sport, really, is probably the same way. You know what I mean? If you're signed to Nike, you're going to get tons of free shoes, tons of free gloves, tons of free, socks or different apparel from your team, like all that different types of stuff. You know what I mean? So, for the most part, at the end of the year, like a lot of these guys are just amassing stuff. You know what I mean? So, to the point where they don't care about half the crap they have.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean? So
yeah,
if they just had a system to get the crap they don't want anymore and get even if it's a practice jersey, you know what I mean? I'd rather have a chopped up practice jersey that the guy used than just like a fake jersey that never even touched the player. You know what I mean? And I think that's definitely doable because um, the practice jerseys really aren't anywhere near as expensive as like the other jerseys, you know what I mean? So like for like retail, why not do like a practice jersey or something like that as opposed to hey, we're just going to give you napkins of just random material that may not even be of that player or of that team. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
just it's crazy to me.
yep, yeah. I mean, uh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, again, I'm the same way. I don't understand. I don't understand why they don't use more game use stuff. I mean, they have so many of them. And you think about it, again, Pat Mahomes, use him as an example. The fourth game of the year, which was not that important. I mean, why not take that one and cut that one up? It's
Yeah.
still game used. I mean, you still go ahead and get I mean, for crying out loud, what do they take? An inch and a half by an inch and a half.
Hmm.
But man, you can get I mean, when you have a football jersey, not like these guys a little, not like you're getting, a kid small,
I
right?
know.
You're getting big flipping jerseys. You
Hmm.
could get a lot of inch and a half by inch and a half, or 1 inch by 1 inch, or different size patches out of that type of stuff and everything.
You know what else I think they really need to figure out a way to tackle? And I feel like if they can do this, like they'll make a ton of money. Like building value into more than just quarterbacks. Like I understand you can make money off of receivers and running backs, but it like chaps my rear end that like guys like TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, like you know what I mean? Like these insanely talented defenders, like the Micah Parsons, the Sauce Gardners of the world, like get like no love. Now, obviously for defenders, they probably get some love, but in comparison, like to a trash quarterback, they probably are less valued. You know what I mean? Like
True.
I would love to see Fanatics figure something out to like I don't want to say level the playing field. Like obviously the quarterback's still the most important position, but I mean, can my TJ Watt cards be like as much as a running back even? You know what I mean? For the most part, you know what I mean? Like
Well, but I
it's not
mean,
even specifically.
but we can't blame that on Fanatics from a
Oh no,
value
and I'm not blaming
standpoint.
it on them. What I'm saying is like I would love to see them solve that problem. You know what I mean? Like whereas they're building all of this like say the taco fractor stuff. Like why not build something around like defensive players? You know what I mean? Like they could have like it wouldn't have to be like tacos for life, but like do something like that around a lesser desired thing, or like say the offensive lineman who like if you pull an offensive lineman out of your pack, you're literally like, I just wasted money on this pack. Like my hit was an offensive lineman. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like do something to where like if you get like a desired hit of that player, it is actually desirable. You know what I mean? Like to where you get an experience or, like something like they did with the taco fractor, but to where you're building value in the non-valuable parts of the box. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like any offensive lineman or any defensive player. I'm saying like build a certain parallel to where, if you get it of this player, like an XYZ happens, it's like boom, like you get some kind of huge incentive. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Or it's like they do with the MVPs, if they built in a defensive player of the year and offensive player of the year buyback or something like that. You know what I mean? Like just to continue to kind of build off of that.
Yeah, I agree. I would love for them to, you know, do something from that standpoint. You know, I mean, but again, you know, I would rather see what I mean, I would rather, I look at it from a standpoint of is though, like I would rather get an offensive lineman's autograph than
Hmm.
have one of my cards in my box be, I don't know, a Jim Kelly, base card.
Hmm.
Right? Like I mean, you get a Jim Kelly Prism base
Yeah.
from 2024. Who gives a damn?
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I'm saying? From that standpoint, you know, I don't know
make it
why.
special
I
like
tell you,
baseball.
huh?
They got to make it special like baseball. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah,
you're hitting, one of those old players, it normally means you just hit an SSP or something good happened. You know what I mean? Like they need to do more of that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And
I don't know. I don't think so. And the only reason why I say I don't think so is Tops never did it with baseball. And, they never really did it, I mean, not that I know, like, I don't think they have. I don't think in any past things, Topps did it with any of the baseball products, so I don't know why they would do a first off the line, you know, um, as they start getting everything else, but then again, you don't know. You
yeah,
know, in a couple of years, they're gonna have everything, they can do whatever the hell they wanna do,
it's going to be
from that standpoint, you know?
it, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and it's also going to be interesting to see if some of these other companies that aren't fanatics like start banding together to kind of you know try to chop down the big giants. You know what I mean? Because it literally looks like Fanatics is steamrolling everybody at this point. So like, I'm just curious to know like what's going on, in like back offices and executive rooms right now, and like some of these other companies that are like literally watching what Fanatics is doing.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they have to see like writing on the wall. Like if they've like come for Panini and they've done X, Y, and Z, eventually they're gonna come for us too. You know what I mean? Like so like if I had licensing or whatever, I would probably be looking for any kind of strategic partnership to kind of help combat this huge Goliath.
Hey, Christian, thanks a lot, buddy. Hope you're, still recovering well from your surgery, sir. Much appreciated.
Appreciate you being here.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. You have no idea. I mean, look, certain things they don't care about. Like they're saying, I
Yeah.
think somebody did something on some of the numbers, and I think they're saying they're doing like um, 1.2 million base cards of each player.
Hmm.
Man, I mean, so it's gonna be 1.2 million of that Ellie De La Cruz. So I mean, I don't think they care, to be honest with you, they want, people are gonna buy, they're gonna want to, do what, they want to do and everything. Um, yeah, I mean, yes, they have the first Bowman, but that's not like first off the line because you could get a first Bowman. First off the line always had some special parallels in it, right? There was only certain things you can get in a first off the line box.
Yeah.
Whereas with a first Bowman, you could get that in a blaster, you can get that in a mega, you can, if they have a hobby box, you can get out of a hobby box. So I think that's the only first off the line usually was more or less, just strictly first off the line, parallels or something along those lines.
Yeah.
First editions, that would be something that they could, that they could do. You know, that they could definitely do. From that standpoint, do a little more first edition. They tried to do it with the opening, with the debut patches and stuff. You know, but it seems for those, to be honest with you, they seem to be, so hard to go ahead and hit. Like I still haven't really seen any of the big guys ones hit, you know.
Yeah.
Panini brands would help Upper Deck. They probably would. They probably would. I mean, look, I don't know what happens. I mean, do Leaf, Upper Deck, Panini? I mean, they're going to be the last three. I mean, and I'm not talking about the specialty ones, like gas and some of these ones that are doing that special stuff. Um, but like, do they kind of sit there and look and go, hey, you know what? Hey, you know, right now Panini still has, F1, right? And hey, Upper Deck says, hey, for right now we got AEW and we got Upper Deck, we got Marvel, stuff
Yeah.
like that, and Leaf can say, hey, we do a lot of the stuff in our area,
It would be
let
a
the three of
huge
us come
partnership,
together.
man, for them to come together. I mean, at this point, honestly, like I think personally, Upper Deck might have leapfrogged Panini just because they still have more licensing. They're actually still putting out, I don't want to say they're putting out a decent product like compared to Panini because they're both putting out good products. But what I mean by that is like there's been no attack on their licensing. Like none of their sports licenses, franchises have been ripped from them. They're not having issues outside of like, say, LeBron no longer being exclusive autograph with them. That's really, I would say, the biggest thing that they've kind of lost from their product is they can't have LeBron autos in like the Goodwin Champions type products anymore. But other than that, I mean, they're picking up huge momentum with AEW. Like AEW is such a big thing right now, as far as popularity and like the cards are doing really well in my opinion. Just as somebody who has bought them, has ripped them, has collected them, and honestly has sold them on eBay. You know what I mean? Like the cards are just every bit as hot as the WWE ones that I've listed for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. Now, Fanatics has WWE, so do they care about AEW? Probably not. You know what I mean? Just because it is kind of like the B brand. You know what I mean? So that would be like we have the NFL, so let's try to get the XFL or try to get the, Canadian Football League or the Arena Football League. Like who cares? You know what I mean? If you already have, the number one brand, you're
Mhm.
probably satisfied with that. The big thing for me is like, are they going to start looking into the pop culture side of things, the comic book side of things, the um like for example, trying to get the Marvel license or trying to get like hockey license or any of that stuff. No, obviously
Well, the funny
hockey.
thing is they could outbid anybody. That's the big thing.
That's the crazy part. And my thing is like, why haven't they? You know what I mean? Like, why? What? I mean, unless they're just not attracted to the stuff. Like I said, like maybe it's like, oh, we have WWE, so AEW is like a secondary brand. But some people actually like AEW more than WWE. You know what I mean? Like some people actually won't even watch WWE anymore because they're so into AEW. You know what I mean? And
Right.
there's a certain section of fan for everything. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see if like 5 years from now, if Fanatics tries to just absorb everything, or if they let companies, like other manufacturers, like continue to kind of thrive in their spaces.
Well, I
You know what I mean?
think I think most of the deals they're signing are 10-year deals or so.
Yeah,
Like I think the NFL and the NBA, I think those are 10-year deals. I mean, they
hmm
bought Tops, so Tops
yeah,
had the deal, but I'm sure with MLB, they have that one. I don't know I don't know about WWE. I haven't heard, what that one is. But that's why I'm wondering, I mean, you know, what can you do? It's like it gets me with wrestling. I'm surprised that there isn't um they don't look at New Japan, they don't look at TNA, or I should say Impact now. We're back to Impact, right? I'm surprised, or is it back to TNA? Which one is it? Whatever it is, right? But I'm
yeah,
surprised they don't look for that more of that type of stuff and get some of those people involved in everything. The UFL, the new, that spring football league. To me, maybe you don't do it right now, but why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you at least, hey man, it's brand spanking new. If you're
yeah,
whoever you are, if you're Upper Deck, why wouldn't you try to go ahead and at least be the first ones who get the inaugural season of it? If you lose
yeah.
it after that, you lose it after it, right? But if you
We had a
get it, you
question
get
about
them.
like cards we were picking up. I'd mentioned these earlier in the stream, but I'm working on getting the Spellbound of Giannis. That's just a base Spellbound. But again, I do really well with the Spellbounds at the Pittsburgh shows. So working on that, and I've had a ton of people ask me for UFC. I don't know if any of these guys are good or not, but at 284, 376, like $3, like even if I put them out for $5 or $10, I'm more than happy to, to sell them at whatever they go for.
Oh yeah.
And then this is the relic that's going to get repossessed by the lady fella. It's a Michelangelo. It has like a little chunk of paper or something like that on it. But that's the most recent stuff that I picked up. As you can see, I just got that like maybe 5 days ago.
Oh yeah.
So just this past week. It's the most recent stuff I bought. Most of it's just to go right back into the next Pittsburgh show because most of my inventory literally got wiped out at this last show. So I've been trying to bulk up a little bit just so I have stuff to fill my cases. And then I think I'm going to do a lot of bargain boxes there too, because I have a lot of stuff that I'm looking to move here in the next couple months.
Yeah. For me, the coolest thing that I've gotten the last week was out of a damaged blaster box. I got a gold minted case hit Anthony Volpe rookie card.
Nice.
So Mike has to look at that to see if that is going to be worth sending in, getting graded.
Nice. Yeah, I think I might have had like $38 into like all 9 of those cards that I picked up. So there's certain auction houses that I'll watch on eBay, and literally, even in a down market, they sell stuff so cheap. You can literally buy it and relist it to eBay right away and double up, triple up sometimes. Or if you take it to local shows, sometimes you do even better. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, because normally on eBay, everybody's like, "Oh, I want the last comp." Like, I have this Okoro auto up that this guy literally is trying to get for $1.75. I'm like, dude, like, clearly you don't know how much I like Isaac Okoro. Like, for $1.75, I'm basically giving it to you. Like, go away. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, but the last comp was $1.75. I was like, yeah, because a moron put it at auction. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, like a card like that, I'm local to Ohio. You know what I mean? I could put that same card out for $10 and sell it very easily locally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though the last sold on eBay is like $1.75 because some idiot put it at auction. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying you're an idiot if you're putting all of your cards at auction, but I mean, a card like that, like unless you're putting it at like a buy it now best offer, you're literally going to get nothing for it. So I don't know. End rant on Okoro. I actually, believe it or not, did pretty well on Okoro at this last Pittsburgh show.
That's great.
I might have sold like 10 of his autos. Like, cause like I said, I'd collected like close to 50 autographs his rookie year. It's probably not the best investment of my life, but
yeah,
I probably still have over 10 of his autographs left. You know what I mean? Like it's just wild how many Okoros I still have in the collection. And I've sold a ton of them. Yeah, the Cavs are really hot now, man. It's really nice because a lot of my collection is Cavaliers. So, like I would say probably 40% of the stuff I collect is probably Cavs. Another 40% is probably Steelers. And then the rest is just like all like a mix of everything else. But like anytime Steelers, Cavaliers players are like hot, normally Anthony's eating because he starts selling stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
For sure.
So, hey, we've been going for about an hour and 10. I know you got to get up early and everything tomorrow. Any last things we want to talk about, want to mention, we want to say or anything?
Sure. I guess we can make a big announcement on the show. I guess effective immediately. I don't really know what my active every week enrollment will be on air, but or kind of what we're going to be doing. But I'm going to be starting a new job next week. and I'm going to be working with some hobby companies. So because of that, this could be considered a conflict of an interest because let's be honest, I'm very honest with the way I feel. And if somebody asks me a question, I'm not going to lie about it. And if I'm working with some of those brands, that could definitely be bad. You know what I mean? Like for me to talk crap on them publicly and then, be in a boardroom or something like that. So
Yeah.
I will be starting that job probably next week. So um, we'll have to figure out kind of where we're going with this moving forward. But you might see a little bit of a change on my channel, just more into other things, just because of conflicts of interest and stuff like that. Um, but again, I'm not going to be doing the hobby or anything like that. I'm still going to be doing all the same stuff. It's just it's going to be a little bit weird for the show just because of conflicts of interest and stuff like that. And I'm under NDA, so there's not a whole lot I'm actually allowed to share yet. But stay tuned to Picksburgh, and I'll obviously keep you guys posted with everything going on. And obviously, Michael gets first scoop with everything once I'm allowed to actually talk about it because it's my homie.
Yeah. So I mean, so effectively, anything can happen in the future, but as of right now, as you see it, collecting profit the way it is right now with Anthony and I, unfortunately, uh, episode 60 is the last one of us together for right now.
Mhm.
What does that mean going forward? I don't know. Um, like Anthony said, he has, basically NDAs that he can't go ahead and talk about. His best is just basically going to be the easiest way to go ahead and say it. He has stuff that he's just not allowed to talk about. So, uh, him trying to do this show could put him in a bad position with his job. And as his friend, I could never ask him to go ahead and do that because I can't ask him to go ahead. I mean, he has the opportunity to get his dream job, and it would be selfish for me to say, "Hey, figure out a way to keep doing this where you could put your, career in jeopardy." Um, so from that standpoint, you know, um,
And I appreciate
I'm
that
still allowed to use the collect. We've talked, Anthony. He says, "Hey, if I want to use the collecting profit name, I still can."
for sure.
Uh, you know, so I don't know. We will have to see, what happens. You know,
Just save me
hey,
a seat in the studio in case something happens.
you'll always have a seat, man. You always got a chair. You always got a chair. I ain't worrying about that and everything,
Yeah.
but who knows? Who who knows? Maybe you know, maybe this leads to some changes at Huddle Card also. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
I can't go ahead and can't leave anything, can't leave anything taken, or should say, can't take anything off the table. It's an opportunity, and stuff. You know, like I said, still want to go forward, still want to do stuff. We're gonna figure it out. Um, you know, who knows if they will let Anthony and I, talk about basket weaving, then maybe we may have this. We may do the next, basket weaving podcast. Who knows?
I have been approved to talk about other things. It's just that like partners or brands that we may be working with, like they consider it a conflict for
Yeah.
me to basically talk crap publicly. Which I
Yeah.
totally understand because I will talk crap publicly if given the opportunity. That's what I do.
Won't talk crap. You'll be honest. That's the
True.
problem. People don't
Very true.
like honesty. A lot of people say they want honesty. They're full of crap. They don't want honesty. They want to hear things. They don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah,
You
for
know.
sure.
So we will see, gang. We'll see what the future holds. I mean, as of right now, um, I was lining up guests and everything. So
Okay.
um I was lining up guests and stuff like that. So, you know, I, It may just be me for the next couple weeks to see what happens, see how that works out. Um, but I don't know. We will go. We'll cross that bridge. I got 6 days to figure it out.
If anyone's interested in stepping up and helping Michael out, some co-hosting duties, definitely feel free to
Yep.
reach out to him on Instagram or email or whatever other ways you guys are connected. But yeah, definitely stay supporting the show because there's a lot of really awesome stuff that's been built here.
Yeah.
And just because I'm not allowed to do it on a weekly basis doesn't mean that I don't want to be involved with the chats or still connected with you guys either or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, Michael's putting out wonderful content here on this channel. So I mean, moving forward, like he said, this may be living here on Huddle Card Collection. So definitely share this out with people and give him the encouragement he needs to keep this going because he's done a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we're at 441 subs. We're 59 away because I think you could go ahead and get monetized now at 500 subs. Is it? I think.
Yep.
Some
Yeah, you're
kind of
very
partial
close.
monetization, so we're getting there close. What the heck did you miss, Matt? To put it in a nutshell, Anthony has a new job that collecting profit can be a conflict of interest. So, as you see, collecting profit right now, as you have seen it for the last 60 weeks, this is say the last one, but then it's kind of like the cliffhanger. Dot 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 dot. Because hey, you never know, right? And like I said, you can't. I'm very extremely extremely happy for Anthony to go ahead and be able to find a job that he is in an industry that he is passionate about. Not many people get that opportunity. And like I told him the other night, when you get that opportunity, you can't you have to at least try.
Mhm.
You have to at least give it an honest shot. You have to go ahead and give it everything you got and go from there. And if it works out, my gosh, you'll never work another day in your life. If it doesn't work out, hey, you've been there before, and and we will be we'll be right back at it. And
For
I'm
sure.
not gonna lie, I hope I never see you on this show again.
Yeah, I
Unless,
mean,
unless they let you, unless they let you
yep.
come on as a guest or anything like that. But I never
Mm,
want to see you as a regular on this show again,
yeah,
because that means that things didn't work out, and that's the last thing I want is for things to not work out with you.
for sure. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And hopefully things will work out really good. And, hopefully I'll be able to bring a lot of people along with me.
Yep. Yep. So, although I hate to, end on a note like that, it's we are going to go ahead and end like that. As we have said all the time, the support that you guys have given us has been incredible. They're coming out each and every week to filling up the chat with questions and really, being a great part with our guests and everybody that we've had on the show, through all the times and stuff like that. So, again, you know, it's we've had the privilege of two guys just sitting here, in the basement
Mhm.
or bedroom or kitchen or hotel room, coffee shop, wherever the hell it
All over the
was,
place. Yeah,
basically, you know, talking about pieces of cardboard, talking about grown men, you know, on cardboard. You've given us a great opportunity. We appreciate it. And
mhm.
like I said, we'll continue to move forward. From my standpoint, hope you guys keep continuing to, support Anthony's channel. Um, the travel stuff and everything. That's all cool stuff to go ahead and see and all that kind of stuff. And again, I hope you go ahead and stick with me because I would love to go ahead and keep doing something, and again, building up that subscriber count and everything. Although it's never been important to me, as the only thing, but it is cool to see it go ahead, and grow. So
Sure.
but Anthony, I will give you the final word to go ahead and close us out. The screen is all yours.
Cool. Yeah, no, I just appreciate the opportunity. Michael came to me with this opportunity to do this show on a weekly basis. I thought it would be fun, but I didn't realize just how enjoyable this would be to get to spend every single week with Michael and you guys really in the chat. So this has been a remarkable period of my life. So I want to thank you guys for it. And again, make sure you guys smash that like for Michael. He's put a lot of hard work into this show, into finding guests, into making sure it's entertaining. So again, just want to honor him on the way out and continue to support his channel because he puts out great content. He doesn't ever get the credit he deserves. So again, thumbs up for my guy Huddle Card Collection, and make sure you guys come over to Picksburgh as well because we'll still be doing content over there. We may start another podcast, just about something different. So we'll have to figure out kind of where that goes. But
Yeah,
the hobby is always going to be kind of in my blood. You know what I mean? Like if you're in Pittsburgh, come to any Pittsburgh card show, you'll see me and Marty there. If you're at any of the bigger regional shows I go to, like I'll still be doing that stuff. Like none of that stuff's going to change. Honestly, I'll probably be going to more card shows now that I'm actually working within the industry again. So nothing really changes outside of the fact I just can't publicly talk about it. You know what I mean? Other than that, which kind of screws up most of my content. That's kind of what I do. Let's talk about cards. I'm down for a farewell party.
Thank you, Dom, and you guys are awesome because we're nothing without you guys.
100%.
But hey, we appreciate it. Don't forget, keep coming back, and see what the future holds. For both of us. Paths. They're not. Our paths are not going to be far away from each other. We're still buddies. We're still friends. We're still going to talk, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the hobby. We just maybe we'll just, if we have to, we just get on here and we don't hit live. We just talk amongst ourselves and stuff. But we're still going to be. So it's not the end of Michael and Anthony. It's just it's an end or a pause, to collecting profit as you know it. But thanks again, everybody. Don't forget, keep coming back. Catch you guys later. Don't forget our channels. See you guys later. Thanks a lot for all the support.